I have 230 puzzles in my to-do pile. However, amongst all those puzzles in my collection, there is something missing. So let's find out what that is. Hi, I'm Sandra, the Puzzling Canadian, and welcome to my channel. Well, I have been an avid jigsaw puzzler for several years now, and I have collected a lot of puzzles that bring me joy and challenge my skill. But now as I take a look at what I have, I'm starting to realize that there are some gaps in my collection. Currently, I feel I do a pretty good job of trying to bring in new brands. I like to puzzle images that are scenic, also ones that are landscape, ones that are fantasy. I don't mind doing those also. I've even added cartoons into my collection. But one thing I have noticed is that the type of puzzles that I bring in tends to be ribbon cut and grid cut, and I tend to stay away from the random cut puzzles. And I do that, it's just because my brain just finds it harder to process those pieces. But this year is going to be the year where I'm going to get used to those random cut puzzles. So before I continue the discussion, let me just explain the difference between ribbon, grid, and random cut. And I've always used ribbon and grid interchangeably, but there is a slight difference between the two. Fortunately, on Instagram, there is an account called Completing the Puzzle, and they recently posted something about the difference. So please visit their Instagram account called Completing the Puzzle, and they'll have a visual graphic. I'll put it up right now also. So first up is grid cut. Now, grid cut basically forms a grid, as in the name. So you will see a cut along straight lines going horizontally and vertically, and the pieces are similar in shape. A lot of times they look square or rectangular. Now, ribbon cut is similar to grid cut, but rather than a continuous line going both ways, both vertically and horizontally, the rows form a strip where the lines are continuous in just one direction, but not the other. So that I did not realize. So that's the difference with the ribbon cut. And the random cut are those puzzles that do not form a grid. They are irregular shapes, odd looking shaped pieces. And then there are different degrees of random cut, which I was not aware of. But as you can see in this image here, these are some examples of the different brands that have different degrees of random cut. So as I take a look at all the puzzles that I completed last year, I found out that only 5% of the puzzles that I assembled in 2024 were random cut. So clearly I love puzzles that create uniformity or some sort of order like in a grid or ribbon cut. And it's a little challenging for me when I'm working on those random cut pieces, but I want to change that this year. So if I like ribbon and grid cut so much, why do I want to change and start working on all these random cut puzzle pieces? It's because I like a challenge. And I find as I get older, I constantly want to challenge my brain. So I find that training my brain to look at pieces a different way by doing random cut, I think will help me as a puzzler. And there are not a lot of nice images out there that are random cut, and I don't want to avoid them. So that is what I wanted to do. So this is what I did. I went to my collection and pulled out all the puzzles that I thought were random cut, and I selected one of them. The one that I decided to select was the Suns Out, because I've done Suns Out before and they were random cut. Started sorting the pieces and started to realize that these pieces did not look like a random cut puzzle. Like we all know what they look like, those weird pieces, and then some are bigger, some are smaller, different shapes. And that's not what I was finding when I was opening up this puzzle. I decided to pack it up and then find another puzzle that I knew was going to be random cut, which is a Cobble Hill, because we can always trust that a Cobble Hill is a random cut. And that's what I find difficult with some of these brands, is that they change their piece cut. So I decided to go back to my puzzle collection and look at a lot of different brands to see if they were actually random cut. For example, New York Puzzle Company. I have done puzzles from them a long time ago that were ribbon cut. So I just thought that they were ribbon cut, but I had 3 in my collection and they were random cut. So now I put that in the section of random cut so I can work on. Also, another company, Vermont Christmas Company. They have had a variety of different piece cuts. And when I started working on them, they would have pieces that were the size of White Mountain, large pieces. And then they changed, and I noticed that they have some that are like ribbon or grid cuts. And then I've seen some random cut, and I actually have 2 of those in my collection right now. So I put those aside so I can work on also. So that's what I find difficult, is that puzzle companies change their piece cuts. So I'm not sure which companies do them. I know that I have a Springbok. I know that they're random cut. Of course, Cobble Hill. I thought Sun's Out, at least the ones that I had. So I'm not sure if they have a variety of cuts, and maybe they do both ribbon and random cut. I don't know. But the ones that I have do not look random cut. And then I've now just added the New York Puzzle Company. And if you know of any other brands that do random cut, please leave them in the comment section, because I'd love to know. So my first random cut puzzle for 2025 is going to be a Cobble Hill, because they have some really nice images, and we all know that they make some great quality puzzles that are random cut, and I really do enjoy them. I don't do enough of them. I think the last time I did a Cobble Hill puzzle was February 2024, and it was like a heart puzzle. So I did it for Valentine's Day. It was very pretty. So I'm now working on this puzzle called His and Hers, and it's 1,000 pieces, and I really do love this image. I am still currently working on it. I am stuck on the bottom section right now where the motorcycles are, and that is giving me a hard time. I don't think the random cut pieces are what's causing the struggle. I think it's just everything is very dark. So I just have to go at it little by little, and hopefully by the time this video is released, I will have it done. But I am enjoying it, and I am starting to get used to the pieces. So I know that if I keep working on random cut pieces, then I will get better at it. So if you're an avid puzzler like me, have you evaluated your collection of puzzles or to-do pile? Perhaps there's something there that is missing that will give you a different puzzling experience. Maybe you haven't tried a variety of brands. There's new brands that you want to try. Perhaps you're always doing the same type of pieces, which is like 1,000 pieces or 500 pieces, and you might want to try a different piece count. Or it could be just the image style. Maybe you stick to a certain style and you haven't explored different ones, and you may want to add those to your list so that you can have a different puzzling experience in 2025. Let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and perhaps it gave you some inspiration to try something different in 2025. Thank you for visiting my channel, and until next time, happy puzzling.